Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we will be doing the Real Madrid yearly ranking, whatever you wanna call it. I don't usually do the end of year awards. That's a better better name for it. I don't usually do the end of year awards. I do end of season awards, and I basically rate every single player in different tiers. But I was on Instagram and I saw Madrid Extra. They were actually running this yearly award thing, and that they've been doing for a couple of years now. That I never actually realized, to be fair. Um, but I decided, you know why? Why not just play along? Why not just go with the flow and see what there is there? Now these let me just say a few things before we get into it. First of all, there's six categories. So it's the best player, most improved player, best goal, and there's best forward, best midfielder, best defender slash goalkeeper in one awards. And the nominees are already um, given. So basically, Madrid Extra gave out a couple of nominees. So I have it written down over here on my other tab. Um, so the nominees are for the best players. We've got Mbappe, Courtois, Bellingham. I was very surprised Bellingham made the cut, but again, who would you replace him with? There's no one else, right? And I thought Bellingham had a very difficult season, difficult year in general, but you know, he still got some big goals. He still got involved in terms of his stats. So you have to put him there. I don't think you can put Vinny Jr. in there, and I don't think you can put anyone else really in there. Most improved players. I was surprised at this. I don't know that Chouameni I would necessarily say he's the most improved because I don't think he was bad before. Now he wasn't bad. You could say he wasn't bad, but he's better. I get it, and perhaps it's a spoiler for who I choose for this award, this category. But when you compare him to Arda Güler and even Asensio, like Raul Asensio's first year in 2024 when he first came in, it wasn't, eye catching. It wasn't crazy. And I'm not saying it was towards the, second year, right? His second year. But it was such a drastic improvement from the young player who came through the Castilla team, who came through the academy. And then there's also Militao in there, which is again very similar to Chouameni. Has Militao ever really been a bad player? No. Again, you could argue he hasn't been fit enough. He has always been injury prone, and this year he sort of um, stayed fit longer. But I don't think that's a fair judgment to say that makes him most improved. But perhaps that's just my opinion. Best goal, we've got Modric, his incredible volley against Girona. We've got Mbappe's second goal against Man City. Pretty sure that's the one where he sent Gvardiol back to Croatia. We've got Fede Valverde's volley against Athletic Club. And we've got the recent one of Militao's long-range curling effort against Espanyol. And then afterwards, we've got best forward can be any forward, best midfielder, any midfielder, best defender and goalkeeper, any of them at Real Madrid for 2025. It can be players that recently joined, it can be players that were here and left. As long as they play for Real Madrid in 2025, they are eligible for those awards. Very straightforward, in my opinion. There's six categories. Let's get straight into it. So forgive me for my ugly writing. I had to use my mouse to write it, and it was done at a very quick timing because I had to quickly get this done. Anyways, best player we're gonna start off with is Kylian Mbappe for me. I don't think it is a clear and obvious choice. I think Thibaut Courtois is very close, right? As a Real Madrid fan that has watched basically every game that I've been able to stay up to watch, every single time, and even games that I only managed to catch up on the highlights, Thibaut Courtois is a joke. Like, I don't know how much more we need to say this, but that man needs a statue. He needs a statue built, right? But there's something about Mbappe for me that I just think 53 goals, I believe, in 2025, that is as great as Ronaldo's 2013 year was, I just don't really think you can not go against him. Now, I understand if you want to say Thibaut Courtois. Completely get it. Completely agree. I think, like I said, if it's a scale of 1 to 100%, I think it's really like 55-45 between one or the other. Like maybe even 51-49, right? I don't see Bellingham as a shout. Really, the stats haven't been there, and even the eye test, like when it mattered most, when the going got tough, I think the frustrations, the emotions got the better of him. The amount of times at the start of the year, before he got his shoulder injury, when he was playing through pain, we saw it so many times. He was frustrated. He then took the summer off for his operation, came back earlier. I think it was September, October, right? And I'm not gonna blame him for what the last 2 months have been, but clearly him and Goulet cannot play in the same midfield. So when we had Arda Goulet alone for the first month and a half, playing with Valverde and Chouameni or Camavinga or Ceballos or whoever, it was so much more balanced. When Bellingham comes in, you have to take Goulet out for him. Like, you cannot have both. You cannot have two attacking minded midfielders in the team, although they are very different styles. One is a playmaker, one is a box crasher, but still, I don't think you can really, like I said, put it all on Bellingham, but I don't think he, for me, can make it in. But Mbappe, numbers speaks for themselves, and even in the humiliating times when Real Madrid have lost El Clasico, he's the one scoring. He's the one scoring hat tricks and 4 goals and whatever to save some face. And it's not been a good year for him. But if anyone, apart from Courtois, can hold their head high out of this dreadful year and not be put any blame on, it's Mbappe. Like, no one can put any blame on him. Like, people are gonna say, oh, but he doesn't do enough defensive work. He doesn't press enough. He scores goals. We need everyone else to do it. Like, Vini Jr. has to do it because he's not scoring enough. Rodrigo has to do it because he's not scoring enough. If you're scoring 53 goals in a year, yeah, you're doing something right, at least, right? Maybe you can improve in general, but who's to say that if he presses more or defends more, that his goal numbers won't dry up, or not dry up, but won't decrease? So for me, look, for me, it's very simple. Mbappe is the best player this year. But I want next year, and it's very unlikely, but I want next year to be Mbappe best player. But I want it to be a team game. Like, I want the team to be better, but I also want Mbappe to be the best player. Like, if Vini Jr. plays better, Rodrigo plays better, Bellingham plays better, Goulet plays better, the defense play better, and Mbappe is the one on the cherry on top of the cake, like the cherry on top of the cake. Perfect. Right? When you have got 10 incredible players and you get the final piece of the puzzle to be a Kylian Mbappe scoring 50 goals, that is absolutely incredible. But right now we've got 10 players pretty much that just can't really do anything. 9 players that can't do anything. And then you've got Courtois in goal at the back, and you've got one attacker up top. And everywhere else, it's a mess. It's not consistent enough. It's not good enough. But for me, still, Kylian Mbappe takes player of the year, best player of the year, for sure. Like I said, Courtois, I can completely understand and agree why you would choose him, but it's very, very close for me. Again, for me, this category is really straightforward. I would say it's out of the Goulet. Like I said, I don't think Chouameni's improvement from last year until this year is as big. I don't think Militao's is as well. Raul Asensio, like I said, you can make a case. He's just come in through the academy. He played his first game against Osasuna, got the assist, and then became a starter ever since. But let's recap Arda Goulet's story, right? He came in. Carlo Ancelotti never really preferred him in his team. Even if he did, Arda Güler was always being put on the right wing, which, as we know, he's not great. He's not good on the right wing. He's not a winger. He's not an explosive player. He doesn't have the pace to run at defenders. He is a creative playmaking number 10 that is left footed. Doesn't mean he's right winger. But Ancelotti leaves, Xabi Alonso comes in, and this is a guy who I believe, if I'm not wrong, does he have the second most assists this year or something? It's like 12 or something. I believe he's tied. Um, with another player that I can't remember, but I know he's not the first. I believe that's Vinny Jr. with 15, if I'm not wrong. I don't want to get it wrong. I think he might be Bellingham at second or something. But he's come in, he's linked up well this season, in the second half of 2025 with Mbappe. Like, almost all of his assists have been to Mbappe, basically. He has maybe not cemented his spot, but I would say that he has put himself into a position where if Xabi Alonso wanted to start Bellingham or Goulet, which he should, if he had to make the decision, it's not a straightforward answer for me. Like, it really depends on the opponent, it depends on the type of game, and 12 months ago, you wouldn't be saying that. Like, if you asked anyone, Bellingham or Arda Goulet, I think 9 out of 10 people would say Jude Bellingham. Now, you could argue half. You could argue maybe even slightly more people prefer playing Goulet. And I completely get it. I completely get it because I really love Arda Goulet. I really think he's a very, very talented, he's a brilliant player. But like I said, my only issue is I don't think him and Bellingham can coexist in the same team. It's not balanced enough. It really isn't, right? Unless you're gonna drop an attacker like Vinny Jr. or Rodrigo, but you're not gonna do that either. So then you cannot have a three-man midfield with two attacking-minded players. You can't do it. So for me, look, I would right now genuinely start Goulet, drop Bellingham for a little bit, and then see how things go. I know we've got Bellingham back. I know he's fit. I know he's ready to fight. I know he's playing well. But you need to go back to what worked at the start of the season when Real Madrid were actually playing well. But Arda Güler, he was key for the first 1 month, 2 months. As the 10, he was really, really good. And the last couple of months, he hasn't really been up to it. Because, why? You have got no balance. You've not got players around him that can help him out defensively. Because he isn't really a defensive type player. So at least when you've got Fede Valverde there to sweep up, or you've got Chouameni there as well to sweep up, when you've got those two players to help you up, okay, do your thing. But when you've got Bellingham, who is constantly forward, you now have the responsibility to go back and help. And that's not his game. You're not utilizing him to his maximum potential and abilities. But anyways, for me, definitely Arda Güler, most improved player. Let me know what yours is down in the comment section below. And then the next category, I think it might be the most split in terms of actually which of these options are you going to go with. I think it's really, really close. I think Real Madrid have scored some banging goals this year. But I've gone with Luka Modric's volley against Girona. Ball comes to him, chases it down, boom, volley. Beautiful goal. And I would say we miss Luka Modric in this team when it matters. Like, he's not going to come in and play every game. But when you're in a game where it's 0-0 or it's 1-1 or you're losing 2-1 and you just need a bit of a control in the midfield, that is your man. We don't have that anymore, but he's still a majestic player. He's a maestro. He's an absolute brilliant player. Brilliant goal. Beautiful goal, really. That volley. I remember that goal against Girona, man. It felt like last year, to be fair. It felt like a long time ago. I didn't even realize. I think it's like February or something, wasn't it? The start of February, if I'm not wrong. Really beautiful goal. I think Kylian Mbappe's goal against Man City was a really close one as well. I mean, just sends Guardiola back home, really. Yeah, breaks his ankle, didn't he? What a goal. And then, by the way, shouts out to Fede Valverde and Eder Militao as well. Fede Valverde's technique was beautiful as well. That volley wasn't easy. I would argue as a volley, it's, slightly tougher to execute compared to Modric's. But the fact that it was inside the box sort of maybe gave Modric the upper hand in that 1v1. And also, Eder Militao, that man, I loved what he did for that goal. Just shoot. Espanyol, they were playing a deep block. They were making it so tough to break down. In that kind of environment, that kind of game, you need a screamer goal. You need the goal to unlock the game, and Militao delivered that goal. Peach of a goal. All four goals were fantastic, but if I had to really choose one, if I'm held at gunpoint and I had to choose one, I'm gonna give it to Luka Modric. But again, like I said, all four make sense. All four can be it for me. So yeah, really, really close this one. Let me just quickly run through this because it feels like the same thing that we talked about at the start of the video. Yeah, Kylian Mbappe, best forward. When you look at who else we have, we've got Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Gonzalo Garcia, Endrick. I don't know if Brahim Diaz is counted. I know Masantono isn't, but even if you count Brahim Diaz, none of them guys are gonna win it over Mbappe. So yeah, Kylian Mbappe takes best forward, and let's move on. Now this is where I think most people are gonna disagree with me, because I have seen a lot of people actually say Bellingham is the best midfielder. I've seen people say Modric was the best midfielder. I've seen people say Goulet was the best midfielder. Some said Fede Valverde, but I really, really didn't see much love for Aurelien Tchouameni. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna give maybe trying to be a bit different, but I genuinely believe that he was the best midfielder. Now you're gonna say, he was inconsistent, whatever. Wrong. When he was fit, which to be fair, he had many injuries and he missed many games. But you cannot tell me that in that midfield, the most important player of this year isn't him. Like, when Camavinga stepped in, we didn't play as good. When Camavinga played along with him, when we saw it against Olympiacos and the La Liga game a few weeks after, when they play as a pivot, they play better. When you take Tchouameni out of the midfield, you see a huge drop off, right? And I'm gonna say this: if you take Bellingham out and you play Goulet, great. When you take Goulet out, you play Bellingham, maybe not as good, but it's still doable. You can still survive. If you take Fede Valverde out, yeah, you struggle, but you can still get away with it. If Camavinga is fit, if Ceballos is fit, you can still make shift. But as a center defensive midfielder, I believe Tchouameni is still a top 5 CDM in the world. Right? This is a man who people underrate a lot. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the world. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Real Madrid fan. Right? I'm not just saying that. But I love Tchouameni. Right? I really do. And I really, really believe that he has been so underrated that he hasn't even been brought up in such conversations for the best midfielder for Real Madrid. Right? If you look at Bellingham or Goulet or Valverde, I don't see them as head and shoulders ahead of Tchouameni for the 2025. Like, Valverde this season for the second half of 2025 has been disappointing. Again, he has been overplayed. He has played too many games, but again, it still matters. Bellingham, again, very frustrated, like I said. Stats, again, not great, but like I said, we didn't really bring him in for the stats. I get it. But, not great. Out the Goulet, second half of the year has been pretty good. But when we look at from day one in January up until currently, take away the injury games, like the games where he was injured and he missed, Tchouameni is the most consistent for me. Like, you cannot tell me otherwise. So I'm just going to give my flowers to Tchouameni. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, and okay, that's fair. But this is probably the one category that I will not change my mind for. Like, I genuinely believe that it has to be Aurelien Tchouameni this year. And maybe next year Bellingham plays his best football again. Maybe Goulet step up and he starts playing well. Maybe Fede Valverde is the main engine man that we know he can be. But as of right now, it has to be Aurelien Tchouameni for me. It just has to be. And I know, like I said, people will differ, people will disagree. That's fair. but I'm not going to change my opinion. For me, it's Aurelien Tchouameni. And no, don't worry, we haven't missed out on the other player apart from Mbappe that has arguably been our best player of the year. Thibaut Courtois takes best defender slash goalkeeper. I'm not gonna put him as just best goalkeeper. I feel like that's very disrespectful. Best goalkeeper, duh, like he's up against Lunin or Fran Gonzalez, right? Like you cannot really just give him that. Best defender, best goalkeeper, definitely Thibaut Courtois. Now let's run through a bit of defender players options that we can potentially choose before we talk about Courtois. Carreras had a really good start, really positive. Same with Dean Huijsen. Rudiger, I just think has been injury prone. Really, I think Militao could have been a good choice as well. Carvajal again, very much injury prone throughout the whole year. Trent came in, started well, got injured, came back, did well, got injured again. I just don't think you can put him in that. And who else do we have? Alaba, he's not even played basically the whole year, right? Raul Asensio, like I said, much improved, but not the best for sure. Ferland Mendy played one game and disappeared again. And Fran Garcia not been good enough. So there's that. There might have been other academy players who came in and played, like Jimenez, for example, and Valder Peñas, but they haven't played enough games for me to fully include them. So it's gotta be Thibaut Courtois, right? I don't know what the statistics of clean sheets and saves are specifically, but all I know is every game he makes 5 to 10 saves that you just wonder how is he keep doing this? Like how is he doing this time and time and time and time again? Like it's not even the fact that he's making these saves, it's the fact that he hasn't conceded really. You know, that as much as he should have. He's a brick wall in goal. He's the best goalkeeper in the world, in my opinion. People saying Donnarumma or Raya need to understand that best goalkeeper doesn't mean best defense. I'm not talking about the best defense because defensively Real Madrid are shocking. But if I have a game where I'm gonna face 20 shots, I know I'm gonna face 20 shots, and I want a keeper who can save most of it, Courtois probably saves 17 of it, right? He probably saves 17 or 20 shots, at least. He could save all 20, but I'm not gonna say he will. But if anyone I'm putting my money on to save my life on 20 shots, it's him. So I don't get this argument of how he's not the best keeper in the world. He is. And time and time again, he's just crazy, man. Like sometimes you just watch the game and you're not even shocked or surprised or blown out of your mind anymore. You're just like, yeah, that's Thibaut Courtois for you. It's like a normal thing, right? So for me, it's Thibaut Courtois to end off the categories. Let me know what your thoughts are on my personal opinions. Let me know what yours are down below. And yeah, I'm recording this on the eve of New Year's. I just uploaded the earlier video today, so I will probably be uploading this on the same day as well to get this video out before the new year, so we can have a clean slate, right? We don't want to dwell on this. We don't want to just think about 2025 anymore. Hopefully, the new year will be a better year for Real Madrid. Look, first of all, signings are going to be absolutely key. This team, right now, as it stands, is not going to compete for anything if Florentino Perez and the board don't wake up, right? A midfielder is needed. You need to sell a couple of the defenders that can't stay fit or let them leave as free agents and bring in a centre back, at least a player who can potentially cover as a backup left back, potentially definitely a midfielder or two. And if you are not planning to play Mastantuono as a right winger for the short-term future, you need to do something there as well. So there's so much that needs to be addressed in a footballing sense, because right now this squad, as good as it is, there's no balance. There isn't balance, and it's still missing key positions. And you wonder how a club like Real Madrid can go into a season and not address certain positions that are so crucial, and Real Madrid fans have been saying and know that have been needing of reinforcements. Like, how can you not do it? How can you not come into the season prepared? I don't know. Anyways, that'll be it. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Happy New Year, everyone. And hopefully, like I said, 2026 will be a better year for Real Madrid. I'll be back. When's Real Madrid playing? Like Sunday night? I'll be back on the weekend with my Real Madrid preview and then review as well. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.